Hey, so I just had a quick thought and I wanted to just share it and upload it. One of the things I want to do with this organization is I want to empower parents, right? I want to empower families, but I keep flopping at well, I personally feel like I'm flopping at a lot of my videos, and I feel like I'm not saying exactly what I wish to say, but I'm I do want to say this. One of my fears is empowering the wrong kind of parents, the wrong kind of families. There, I don't ever want to enable somebody's non-preferred behavior, non-preferred in the form of like treating our ABA teams in a demeaning way. Sometimes I've there has been times that I've spoken to some parents where I don't get so much the sense that they very humbly are requesting help. It's more kind of like they're demanding something they feel is owed to them. And that's not how ABA works, or that's not how therapies work, or that's not how any services I strongly feel in my heart work. I feel like um, if we have good communication in a humble, positive way, we can get through things way better. But if somebody treats me a certain way, or anyone in our staff a certain way, or even anyone in the field a certain way that I feel that they do not they do not reserve deserve, sorry, that's I don't want to enable that. So I'll say things like, hey, let's let's empower families and let's empower parents, because sometimes this side can also treat the families in a certain way where they feel like, well, this is what we provide and this is what we're going to provide, and that's it, hate it or love it, and it's going to be our way, and that's it. That's where I want to empower parents and educate parents and be like, no, that's not it. Either they're lying, they're manipulating, they're gaslighting, they're intimidating, they're making it seem like that's how it's supposed to be, and that's actually not. That's their own personal way of doing things. So I'm afraid to give that power to the wrong people, and it's really hard to know who are the right people and the wrong people. And I'm only saying wrong people for lack of better terms. But imagine if I give that kind of power to a very highly entitled, narcissistic, person like that. That's not okay, because then if I gave it to them and then they worked against on this, on this other side, the also bad, unfair, unethical, narcissistic people, fine, whatever. But imagine someone already feeling very entitled, like you're here for me, you're here to work for us, you owe us this. I'm not going to do a lot of the work. I'm not going to listen when you try to educate me. No, 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 you do this. You do this because, you guys are the ones that are providing the service. No, I don't agree with that whatsoever. So I kind of had a thought, and I thought, man, well, that's at least one video that I do want to put out. And I I think it's very important for all of us to just have really open, respectful communication. I don't want anyone to ever feel, like they can treat someone like that. Don't treat people like that. That's the gap. That's the gap that's it's the result of treatment like that. Sometimes, and it's okay if we react. It's okay for all of us to react, right? Like, I see sometimes, you know, parents, they open up of like their school system, and then go have a private conversation with the teacher, and then I see this other side of the teacher that I'm like, oh wow, like they're just not, they're just not seeing eye to eye, and that's okay. And I get it, we all feel like, wait a minute, what am I doing wrong? I know a lot of times I feel like, what am I doing wrong? Just because I asked a little more, just because I didn't wasn't 100% in agreement with what you want to do with my son, like. And then sometimes I question, like, am I being an entitled person? Like, should I just kind of let things just go with the flow? Why does everybody, like, no one's reacting but me? Like, maybe it is me. And I try talking to a lot of people, and I'll show emails, and and then yeah, I do come across another parent that's like, you know what, with me too, the teacher acted like that with me, the teacher responded to me in this way as well. I also advocated, and so now it's just like, let's say, two of us versus like 10 parents that are being treated wonderfully. You know what I mean? Those things exist. So it it will make those two people go nuts, and it will make us advocate a little more for our children, and then it makes us look worse sometimes. So, but what happens when the teacher is really trying their best? And I'm not going to talk about me and this particular teacher. Let's say my son's previous teachers that were just the absolute best, or his previous school, the entire school. It's the greatest school I could ever imagine as far as special needs. And let's say an entitled person comes and attacks. I cannot support that. I will not support that. That's where because I know, I know, and my goal is always going to be to find out, you know. So I just wanted to make that, clear that I'm not gonna support, like, if off like off the bat, somebody mentions something, I don't ever want to play the game of attack, like instant attack. It's always better for all of us to educate ourselves, and then try to talk, try to talk calmly. Any situation I've been in, I'll show you guys emails, you know what I mean? Like, I've not posted them yet because I don't even know if I'm getting enough attention right now. And like I said, sometimes it's just my head is everywhere. But I feel in my heart like I started off, just talking regular, like just being cool, and just, okay, you know what? This didn't work out like this. It hurts me in my heart. I cried for a whole 2 weeks about it. Let's just, go back to this. And then it's like, no, we're going to keep it like this because we want to. You know what I mean? Like, that to me then played in my head, like, it doesn't matter to your son, doesn't really matter to us. Your feelings don't really matter to us. This is an ego thing. Like, we don't want you telling us what to do. And I will quote this. We are hand selected, and we feel like this is a hand selected amount of people, and I'm so sorry. This is a hand selected, group, and you know what? I'm gonna look up the conversation. I have it through text, but it was kind of basically like, from what I got, like, we know what we're doing. I understand if it was something like, hey, you know what? We're all trying our best. We're all trying our hardest. Like, come and, see for yourself. Like, let's all have a real conversation like adults. Something where we all could have each other's backs and say how we really feel, but with no kind of attacks. You know what I mean? Something like that. That's what I want to strive for. I want to strive for all of us to be able to have real adult conversations where we could come to a peaceful agreement. And so that also includes parents and, family members also toning down, you know, excessive angers, excessive, like that's where I want to be the middleman. I want to be able to understand you 100% and then see like, all right, let's you know, let's work through this. But of course, I'm a parent, I got your back. But I've worked with a lot of schools, I worked with a lot of teachers, psychologists, therapists, and a lot of people, a lot of those people, you know, behavior therapists, they are there genuinely with their hearts, genuinely. And I want to also be able to say that out loud. I want to be able to explain that to you and show you. Maybe you're a little traumatized. Like, I can see why you're traumatized, but give me a chance to, you know, show you that these people, there are those good ones, you know, the ones that were built for this. So please, let's respect them too. So I just wanted to make sure I said that, because with all the empowering that I want to do to parents, I don't ever want to just give that to someone who has already been treating the innocent people on the other side really horribly. I've been treated horribly by some parents, and I've had to even pull myself away from my own mental health because we just were not, I don't know what I was saying wrong. I'm not even going to say they were saying things wrong, but it just really felt like, oh God, something's just not, we're not getting anywhere, and we're only going to get to my mental health being deteriorated. So I've had to pull away from certain people, and I need to give my energy to those who are dying just like me, you know? And so I just wanted to share that thought.